No, 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 no. Just keep the monkeys in their cages. I'll feed them after the show. Seriously. Damn monkeys. Hey, what's up, everybody? We all set up for the show? I'm John Zidar, in case this is the first time you ever been here. I'm going to be your host. There are others, not. Today, we are looking at hot penny stocks, as we always do on the Hot Penny Stock Show. Usually, though, I'm the one that brings the hot penny stocks to the show. Today, you guys bring them. Every Thursday, I have the viewers give me penny stocks they think are hot. So don't blame me. Don't give me credit. It's all on them. But I'm going to do the due diligence, but it's not going to be a deep dive. We don't have time for all of that. I'm just going to go through the basics. We'll look at the share structure, the catalyst, the filings, and of course, we'll look at the charts. And I'll give you my opinion. And that's all you're getting here, folks, is an opinion. I'm truly not a wizard, so I can't give you any magic spells to make anything happen. And I'm not a licensed broker, so I can't even give you advice to make anything happen. I'm just giving you my opinion and sharing what I think about it. And I'm wrong as often as I'm right. Ta-da. So I appreciate all the tickers you guys have given me. My posse is here every Thursday to take care of me. We got like the Underdog, Belmore, Mark Ryan, Kashera. I know I'm forgetting a few there. I love all of you. I mean, really, without you guys, I wouldn't have a show. I'd just be sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Last week, we did not get to everything that we wanted to get to. As a matter of fact, we missed one by that much. Just ran out of energy, ran out of time. It actually came from Dave X Town. He's been very patient. Dave asked me to cover this last week. As soon as I missed it on Friday, I think it was, he said, "Can you do it next week?" So he's waited a whole week for this. So we got him first in line. Then we got Mark, and then we got the Underdog, and then we got Belmore. First come, first served. That's the way I do it. It's the fairest way. So I've got all that due diligence done. We're going to dive into these, get some information. I shouldn't have any problem with my buttons because we've got that worked out now, don't we? You used to have a big problem with that. I just forget to click, and all you'd see was my head. So let's jump on into this, folks. Make sure I've got all my buttons clicked. Yeah, number one's looking good. Number two's looking good. Hey, we're on target. All right, let's scroll on up here to the very first ticker. This comes from Dave X Town, JPTE. Let's get that ticker up here. JPTE. We are looking at JP3E Holdings. JP3 Holdings is a Web3 blockchain AI real-world assets company. So basically, they're working with blockchain, they're working with AI in blockchain, and they're working with real-world assets, which is something a lot of us just aren't realizing is going to be very, very big. Real-world assets are when you back up whatever it is you have with real-world assets, not esteemed value, not what we think it's worth. You know, it's like when you have a token backed by gold. It's backed by gold. That's the way our money used to be. It ain't backed by gold anymore. So they're getting a lot of companies now that are working with real world assets. So we're going to have to watch this market. It is just starting to open up, like the predictions market, the AI markets. These are all new sectors that are growing at tremendous rates right now. JPTE, JP3E Holdings. JP3 Holdings is a company based out of New Jersey. They finished the day today at just under 2 cents, 1.7. They were up a little over 7.5%, jumping a little more than 1/10 of a penny today. This is on the bottom tier of the OTC ID, which is what they call it now. It used to be called the pink market. This is actually the riskiest tier that you're going to trade on anywhere in the market because there is little, if any, validated information on this tier. What I mean is there's no filings. You have nothing to back up any of the press releases you're going to get. Financials, you get what they call disclosures. It's just a tally of money they've gotten and money they've spent, but it's coming from the management. It's not coming from any CPAs. So you got to take all of that with a grain of salt, including the press releases. So if you're going to be playing OTC IDs, I would advise get in, take your gains, get out. Don't stick around for that dream that's going to happen in 3 months that they told you about. Normally something falls apart before they get there. So what do we got for this company? Well, let's start over here with the relative volume. I didn't have any notes on this because there wasn't anything that really stood out to me as being tremendously good or bad. It was just blasé. Sorry about that, Dave. So over the last 30 days, our average has been about 1.4 million. Today, we did about 1/3 of that, just under 500,000. Looking at the share structure for the company, it's kind of up there, right? We're about 700 million, just shy of 3/4 billion shares. The insiders own a lot. Thank God for that, just under 300 million, which still leaves us a ton of shares. We got 400 million shares here. Market cap for the company, we're closing in on 11 million right now. Financials, you always want to know if they're making money. Oh, now that's interesting. We've had nothing going on here until the end of last year. First revenues coming into the picture, 4.3 million, and they got to keep more than 50% as profit, 2.4 million. Are they keeping that up on the quarterlies? Yes, they are. So revenues are continuing with this company. They've been dribbling down a little bit. They hit a high of 1.4, and now we're down to 900,000, but they're maintaining. Problem is their profits. Profits are falling fast. I don't know why. They were up here at 1.2 million with 1.5 million as their revenues. We lost 1/3 of that, but we lost, goodness gracious, 4/5 of the profit. And taking a look at the balance sheet, not much in the bank, $28,000. We got those 3 zeros we got to put on any of the numbers here. Thank God for that, right? Total assets, 23 million. Total liabilities, 25 million. So we are holding a wee bit of deficit in this company of 1.2 million. All right, let's see what sort of news or catalyst we got going on for the company. That ain't a catalyst. No, that's not a catalyst. Okay, highlight, thank you, please. I've got 2 pieces of news here I want to consider. Both of these came out this month. JP3E Holdings unveils revolutionary T-burn and DCP platform posed to capture $4.6 billion market opportunity in next generational digital economy. Now let's see if I got anything highlighted in this bad boy. No. It says that the T-burn main set delivers unprecedented performance metrics, processing over 500,000 transactions per second with a 5 millisecond finality, more than 10 times faster than competing blockchain platforms. All right, so now we've learned that this T-burn, it's got a name for T-burn for a reason. It's really fast. It's burning things up. And then on the 25th, the company with T-burn partners with T-burn Chain to launch Innovation Cities, Quavi in Atlanta and in Texas. K2 Global SMB 500 platform deploys blockchain-enabled industrial ecosystems in Atlanta, Georgia, and Dallas, Texas, strengthening America's supply chains and manufacturing capacity. Supply chains is normally shipping. Manufacturing is obviously manufacturing. The K2 Global blah, blah, blah initiative integrates 500 elite Korean small and mid-sized enterprises into U.S. manufacturing clusters powered by Quavi AI intelligence and T-burn IO real-world asset tokenization infrastructure, targeting a $7.5 billion total capital deployment, creating the first Korean U.S. industrial blockchain corridor for strategic material supply chain resilience. Woo! A lot of big words there. So we're going to have to dive into this on our own time, but they've got a platform here that is working with a lot of small and mid-sized companies in Korea in a major joint venture with America, creating a blockchain corridor for material supply chain. I don't know what materials they're talking about, but it's definitely worth the read here to see what's going on there. Sounds very interesting, new technology, cutting edge. Disclosures for the company. All right, what I'm going to do here, because I would have to dive into each one of these. Let's see, that's 2008. No, we don't have to. No, because this is OTC ID, we really don't have any. The last one was their disclosure back in November, so we're not going to dive into that. So they've got a platform that they are using, and they're doing it with a whole lot of Korean companies, 500 of them. JPTE. All right, let's kick this chart back. We're over here at Thinkorswim. This is the free trading platform you get from Schwab. This very well may be the day that came on the market. That is August 4th. Let me kick this back 5 years. Let's see how far back it goes. Nope, that's it. March 4th of what? This year or last year? Well, it can't be this year, dum-dum. All right, so this is August 4th of last year. She came on the market at about, I can't tell here. It looks like maybe just under 10 cents. And she fell really hard all the way down to 4 cents. So she lost over 50%. Obviously, I was looking at this the day it came out. I've got a trend line set there, and it's a downhill trend line. And she has been in a downtrend ever since she came on the market. She has been falling from that high of 7.5 cents down to 0.03. Really down there. Off of this low bubble, she has stopped falling, has gone sideways for a whole month. And then she started to push up. She's gotten on top of her 50, and she is pushing towards our trend line, which is the very first trend line from where she started here. Right here. Boy, and you can see this big jump right here. The top bar hit it specifically. Now, I drew that line way back here, back in August, and it was still active here in October. And now we're hitting it again here in February. Tell me trend lines don't live forever. These things are going on and on. Now, we've got no 200-day MA on the board here, so we don't have no 200 squeeze. She is just starting to climb with all of our oscillators climbing with her. Coming down to our 6-month 4-hour, pretty much the same thing here. Let's see what we look like down here. We've got a breakout happening, and we do have a 200 here. There's our 200 MA, our 200 Hall, both of them coming together in a squeeze. Price in the middle, starting to panic, looking for air. Look at the periscopes going up over top of that 200 over and over again. And then finally, she decides to jump to and through that 200, and she is riding that 9-day MA, jumping and bouncing strong. These bounces are going from like 1.2 cents up to 2 cents. A penny up to a penny and a half. So they're like 50% bounces right here. All of our oscillators are climbing. Everything is strong. Volume is pretty weak compared to what we had back here. Volume is pretty weak, and she's looking pretty strong. Taking a look at our 20-day 1-hour view, we're on an uptrend now. It's not strong, but our 200-day MA is climbing. We hit a low here of 0076. And that was like 7 days ago. 3 days ago, we hit 2 cents. That is almost, let's call it 250% run right there. Back down to our 9-day MA, which she is floating on. You're watching your 1 minute, and it gets scary. Price comes down. It's hanging there in midair with no supports, no MAs underneath it. Back up. Go to your 5-minute, 15-minute, even your hour. See if it's floating on a 9-day MA. If it's on a 9-day on those, don't worry about the 1 minute. The 1 minute is trying to figure out where somebody is going by watching their eyeballs. You know, watching everywhere they look, trying to figure out where they're going to go next. It's crazy. Coming down to our 5-day, 5-minute. We are on an uptrend, and we just got our 200-day MA in the picture. Now, in a lot of cases, I will see the price gravitate to the new MA. Doesn't matter if it's above or below it. It'll normally go to it. Now, that doesn't mean it'll stay there. It just kind of tags it. Sometimes it stays, then it goes right back to where it was going. Now, it hasn't done it yet. It may not, but it's just got here. This has only been today. So right now, we are on an uptrend. We're sitting on our 50 with the 200 underneath us, climbing ever so slightly as our oscillators are doing as well. So she does look like she has strength, not a lot of strength. She has been climbing slowly and gently. That's good. We don't always have to have a runner. Swing plays are great when they just climb nice and steady and slow. No abrupt movements that way. JPTE, wouldn't hurt to put this on your watch list. She is showing signs of climbing. Okie dokie. Yeah, you're still with me. Woohoo, day tripper. Let me see. Karen. Hey, folks, I want to give a shout out to this. Karen Payne. Karen Payne has been watching my videos for a while, and she always says the kindest things to me. You know, you don't get a lot of women viewers, and you get very few women followers. Now, I'm presuming Karen's a woman. I mean, you never can tell with a name. And in the transgender era, you never can tell, but I'm presuming. So I just want to say thank you, Karen. I appreciate all those kind things you say. You really do make me smile. So if I don't make a comment, but I do give you a like, believe me, I did like it. Great to have you here today, Day Tripper. I like that name. Great DD, John. Much appreciated. You bet, Dave. I appreciate your patience, pal. All right, let's jump into the second ticker we got now. This is coming from Mark Ryan. Mark Ryan is a hard worker and an excellent trader. He loves to scalp his stocks, although work has been taking precedent lately, and I don't think he's happy about that. ALBT, let's get that up here. Try again and be successful. Avalon Global Care. Avalon Global Care is a managing global healthcare service and resource company. Their daily volume jumped big today. Very low float, near 4 million, and they got lots of activities we got to consider. So let's take a look at ALBT, company out of New Jersey. Finished the day at almost $1.09. Wow. Look at that, folks. Up 113% today, jumping 58 cents. This is a hot penny stock on the NASDAQ, the major exchange, which is going to give you benefits over those penny stocks on the OTC. One of the best ones, you get to trade these major exchange stocks for free. You don't have to pay when you buy your shares or sell your shares. You just pay for the stock. There's no extra fees. You also get to trade them pre-market, after-market. Folks, I'm telling you what, some of the biggest runners happen pre-market, after-market because there's no halts for volatility. And you don't have to be there to trade. Just put in your orders, standing orders. Just remember to change that day trade period to an extended period or after-market period or something like that, or it won't see your trade. And you also get a lot more volume, a lot more money, and a lot more rules up on the major exchange. Now, the rules aren't for us. They're for the companies, lots and lots of them. That's the difference between the major exchange and the OTC. Lots of rules keeping the companies honest, keeping our investments safe. So ALBT, what are they about? Well, let's see. I've already told you what they're about. Let's get some information about what they're about. Wow, lots of news here. Okay, I'm trying to think if I actually dove into any of these. We are going back to January 12th. We'll headline these and see if anything sparks in my memory. The company regains compliance with NASDAQ stockholders' equity requirement. Good. We've got equity and they're out of hot water and they're over $1. Now, they're barely over $1. I don't know how long they've been under $1. They just got over $1 today. You have to stay over $1 or you get into trouble. If you go under $1 too long, you'll get a warning letter from the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. They tell you to get the price up over $1 in the next 6 months for 10 consecutive days. You have to close over $1 or they'll kick you off. They'll throw you down to the OTC or you got to do a reverse stock split. Either way, the investors are not happy when that situation happens. So we've gotten our stockholder equity compliance, which means we've got equity now, and we just went over $1. We'll see here. Next piece of news, the company announces FDA registration renewal for Keto Air and planned business-to-business and business-to-consumer launch through Ketchup. It's automated generative, AI-powered, short-form video software as a service platform. I can't remember. I don't think I wanted to highlight anything in here, but they've got this machine that is measuring, where the heck is this? It's a breathalyzer and it's measuring things in your system. And again, anytime we get to anything that has to do with medical, it's over my head, folks. Just like mining, they have this terminology that is above me. Let's see. Avalon plans to launch Keto Air in both business to business and business to consumer markets via Catch-Up for creating short-form video content operated through its subsidiary Avalon Quantum AI. The initiative is designed to support and amplify marketing, distribution, and digital engagement. So they've got this video that's coming out that goes along with their Keto Air product to explain to you how to use it. Now, it's interesting because the news about that joint venture with that company, right up here. All right, first, Avalon Global eliminates major debentures of $2.6 million. They got rid of a whole bunch of debt. We're glad to hear that. The company's subsidiary files their third U.S. provisional patent for its Catch-Up generative AI video platform. We were just talking about that, how they're going to use this with their keto, their air product, whatever that is. An Avalon Global subsidiary accepted into AMD AI developer program to advance next generation media infrastructure. Now, when I dove into this, it sounds like they are getting a new company, this Avalon Quantum here. They have this way of creating videos for captive audiences that can be different for different people. You know, we watch a TV show, regardless of who's watching it, where you're watching it, what set you're watching it on, we're all watching the same exact thing. They have something different. We could be watching something different at the same time. I don't understand it. AI is getting very creative here. So this is going to be something you're going to want to jump into, this video application that they're working on. They've got patents for it. They're working with the Avalon Quantum. They're combining this with their own products. It's very creative. AI is doing so much for us right now. Taking a look at the relative volume for ALBT. Wow, people are excited over this news. She has jumped from under 500,000 shares as an average over the last 30 days. Now, when I say average, some days are a lot higher, some days are a lot lower, right? She's down here at 396,000 shares as an average on a major exchange. That's shameful. Today, we're up there at 305 million. Woo! Now we're talking. Share structure for ALBT, low float. We're right around 4 million for outstanding share count. I don't have a clue what the insiders own. I would subtract that, and that would give me my float. Not having a clue, best I can tell you, can't be more than the outstanding share count. So it won't be any more than 4.2 million. And a legitimate low float is 10 million. So we got ourselves a low float no matter what the insiders own, if they own anything. And when you consider how many shares just moved today, 305 million, divide 4 into that, you're looking at over 70 times every single share had to sell today. Isn't that impressive? Let's see what the market cap is for the company. Right now, we are pushing 2.2 million. Financials. What is their bank looking like? Pretty steady. Over the last 4 years, they're roughing right around 1.3 million every year. Profits are bouncing. 4 years ago, we were at 400,000. End of 2024, we're at 267. Inflation for AI? I don't know about that. Quarterlies. Look at that. I mean, just copacetic right across the board. $340, $350 million every 3 months. And they're keeping roughly 100 million every 3 months. Balance sheet for the company, we got 333,000 in the bank, 9 million in assets, 13.5 million in liabilities. So we're holding deficit of about $4.5 million in this company. All right, we already looked at the news, right? Yeah. Did we look at the disclosures though? Nah. 8K. Okay. I'm going to take this rather than diving in and out of all those. I'm going to run over here to Stock Titan because they give me blurbs for the filings. Call up the stock, and right down here, you'll have the news to the left and the filings to the right. And look at that. They give me a blurb for each one, so I don't have to go diving in, reading, trying to figure out what it is I'm looking at. Avalon accepted into AMD AI developer program for AI growth. Avalon adds discounted note and refreshes board rolls. Those are both the news, the debentures and the AMD. And director receives Series E preferred shares. That's it. I don't see anything that we need to concern ourselves with, folks. So that's everything going on with ALBT, and there's a lot going on there. You're going to have to come behind me now and do some due diligence. We didn't have time to dive into all of this. And all of this AI stuff is always going to be getting complicated, folks, because they're doing creative things we just haven't thought of. They're connecting dots we didn't know could be connected. ALBT, jumping on over to Think or Swim, my playground. You know I have fun doing my charting, right? I like to chart. I like to chart for me. You know, I chart for a lot of people. It's more interesting when it's your money that you're charting. When you're charting for other people, sometimes it can be a chore. So let's kick this back now to a year. Let's get our trend and our highs and lows. About a year ago, we got a 52-week high of $11.66 when she was well over everything. She came down very quick and abruptly, falling down to $4.50. And from there, she just continued falling down to our 52-week low of 42 cents. Whew, that's down there, ain't it? She has been underneath the 200 this entire time, except for one jump. That bounce went from 2.25 up to $5. Over 100% run right there. Looking at what's going on today, we had lots of volume come in today. She has jumped. She's up on top of the 50-day MA with our 200 MA underneath and our 200 haul underneath and our 200 MA on top. But both are falling. We need this 200 haul on the bottom to turn up. That's the key to the play working. Without the 200 haul turned up, it's just warming up. It isn't hot yet. All of our oscillators, they're starting to warm up nice. We have a pull up on our PPO. PPO is like your MACD. The PPO uses a percentage of the price. MACD uses the whole price. I like to use both because they will show different divergences. Our ADX is very hot, folks. ADX has 3 lines. The green line is your uptrend. Whichever one is at the top is in charge. Green is at the top. Red is your downtrend. If it's down at the bottom, it has no power at all. This has no power. And that yellow line is telling you how much strength is in the dominant trend. So our uptrend is strong. And this is the full chart. There's nothing above this and there's nothing below that. So when it hits the top, it's maxed out. Let's come on down to our, no, that's the 1 hour. I want the 4 hour. And let's give you some charts to see. I like these jumps, right? We've got these jumps going through the 200, big fast jumps. They come down very quick. So if you see one take off, once it goes over to 200, consider selling fast because it's going to come down just as fast as it was going up. Looking at where we're at right now, we were underneath everything here. We got up on top of our 50-day MA. We now have a rising 200 haul and a falling 200. This ran to the 200. I would have presumed it was going to break out. Why not? That is a perfect 200 squeeze. And then it pulled back all the way down here underneath every single MA, scaring the heck out of everybody. We're down here at 42 cents, that 52-week low. She did not bounce off of it. We didn't see any stockholder equity. I thought they just fixed the compliance with stockholder equity. How could we be at -4 if they fixed it? I'll have to look into that. So off that low bubble, we went sideways for 2 days. And then today she ripped pre-market, going 50 cents to $1.35. Whoa, you're talking like a 115, 130% run there, all pre-market, folks. She then came back down to our 9-day, maybe the 50. Tough to tell. They're there together. Bounced on it. Went back to and through that 200. Another strong rip going from 69 cents to $1.28. Virtually 100% rip. Back down to our 200. We are in a 200 squeeze now. There's our rising 200 haul. It's above the 50 and it is going to and through the 200. Now, what I expect it to do is to do exactly what it's doing. Come down, hit the 200 or the next strongest MA underneath it. It'll come down and tab that. And then if the volume is still there, it'll just gather its strength and start to run again. So this is looking good. Everything is still in motion right now and still hot. 20-day, 1 hour view. There's our fall. There was our initial breakout when the 200 went flat. She's falling. When she goes flat, you'll normally see a run. And we hope she keeps going. For some reason, she broke back down here, coming down to that low and then ripping really hard, coming down to that 9-day MA, which she is floating on. Look at that 1 hour chart. No need to fear. I don't care what your 1 minute chart looks like. This 1 hour chart is solid. Even when she fell to the 9-day, never coming underneath it. You can't climb unless you're on the 9. Well, you can't fall unless you're under it. So this is looking beautiful. Every single oscillator is climbing right now. All of our MAs climbing right now. We've got a golden cross. Anytime a smaller MA crosses a larger MA, if it's going up, it's golden. If it's coming down, it's a death cross. Take a look at our 5-day, 5-minute downtrend down to the low, sideways 3 days. Wow. When did this rip? 8 in the morning, 7:30. 7:30 in the morning. So most of us were up, I think. So you could have caught this, but she moved so bloody fast. She went there from 48 to $1.35, held it. Now, if you are in a stock that is running pre-market, get out before the bell. 9 out of 10 times, if it hits the bell and it's been way up, you're going to have profit takers. People who don't play pre-market aftermarket saw the price down here. Now they turn on their computer. The price is up there. What would you do? Yeah, you're going to sell. You're not going to go look why it ran. You're just going to sell. So if you're in a stock running pre-market, take your gains pre-market. Let it dip at the bell. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it won't. You'll be glad you got out if it didn't come back. This did not come back. She fell. We got a bounce out of it, but she hit that 20-day MA, came right down through all of our MAs. We're underneath everything. And right now she is fighting to come up. She has half a chance here. We've got the 50 and the 20, both turned up, both very important. One is for trend and one is for direction. And we've got our 200 haul. It's getting on top of. It breaks this 200 with the rising 200 MA, very strong likelihood this is going to continue climbing. All of our oscillators are still pushing up and climbing. Look at the volume. Where's all the volume the days before? We got lots of volume still in the picture. So ALBT definitely needs some more due diligence to know what the company is all about and doing right now. But whatever it is, it's got the investors excited. Really ripped this morning. She has kept more than 50% of her gains. Let's throw that Fibonacci up there. Poke the top, poke the bottom. We've got ourselves supports and resistances there that we can trade on and the price will respect. Find the center, the 50% mark. Everything above this is the green. That's positive. If it can stay up here, chances are it wants to climb. If it falls below this, chances are it'll go down to the next strongest MA before it decides to bounce. We are there. Look how she bounced on that 50 mark, the halfway point, and now she's pushed up and we're on the 61, getting over to 200. This is looking like it's ready to climb, and I've got my supports and resistances ready to trade it when she does move tomorrow. So ALBT, I'd put it on my watch list. She looks like she's ready to give something tomorrow. How we all doing over here? Yeah. Airdrops. I've had a few airdrops, but I can never find the coins. Every time they give me something, they put it on some market, and it's like, I think I got something like 1 million Black Dragon tokens. I can't find them. They gave them to me, said they're there. We verify them. It's like I can't find them. Okay. Nope, not happy about that. Oh, the work. Yeah, the work. I know you're not, buddy. You like trading. I think you make more money trading. All right, let's take a look at the next stock we've got here. This one comes from the Underdog. If any of you are old enough, you know he was a cartoon, right? Underdog. We wants to look at VMHG. Now, I had never heard of this stock. VMHG, Victory Marine Holdings. What do we got about this company? This is an online new and used yacht and boat sales company. Super duper low daily volume today. And we've had a change of control, which I almost missed. I didn't see this until I ran over to Stock Titan and got that blurb out of the filings. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that. So we've caught that. So let's see what we've got going on here with VMHG. VMHG is a company based out of Florida. Makes sense if you're going to be selling boats. But let's get something straight here. The company itself is not a dealership selling boats. They are an online platform where you and I can sell our boats, where new companies can sell their boats. And they do have a whole lot of new companies. They mention them down here. Victory Yacht Sales has partnered with selective world-class yacht manufacturers as Johnson Yachts, Mazu Yachts, Sunreef Luxury Catamarans, Heliothrop Catamarans, blah, blah, blah. So they've got all these boats that are available to be bought on their platform. And if you need someone to talk to at those brand new boat shops, somebody will talk to you gladly. They'll gladly sell you their boats. No problem there. So it's not like they own the boats and they're selling the boats. They just own an online boat platform. So they finished today at 2.3 cents, down 15.5%, which was almost a half a penny down. Ooh, big drop. It is. When you're dealing with penny stocks and sub penny stocks, those are big drops. Think about it. You buy a penny at 2 cents and it only drops a penny, you just lost 50% of your investment. You buy a stock for $3.50, it's got to go down to $1.75 for you to lose 50%. So there's a lot of reasons to be buying stocks that aren't this cheap. Now we are down here on the Pink Limited. Pink Limited is underneath the OTC ID. It is reserved for companies that are late on their financials or other important filings. And if they don't get those filings and financials caught up in time, you guessed it, they're pulled off the market. But they're not delisted. They're put on the expert market. You know, when you're on your major exchange, they throw you down to the OTC. If you're on the OTC, well, you're already on the basement floor. Where do you go from here? The dungeon. You go to the expert market, time out. Your stock cannot be traded while you're here, and you'll stay here until you get those filings caught up. And if you're invested in the company, you're trapped with them. You're in the dungeon too until they come out. And I've got a couple stocks that are down there that have not come up, and my money's locked. Can't do nothing with it. And the price normally falls way, way, way down to 501 when it goes on the expert market. God forbid that happens. Now, the important thing here to know is that when they're going to kick this company off, if they kick a company off down to the expert market, you're going to get a warning here called, oh, doggone it, what is that called? It'll come to me here in a minute. It's yellow, and it'll be right here, and they're not going to give you the date. They're going to tell you that the date is happening, but they're not going to tell you when it's being kicked off. Once you see that countdown has started, you come over here to quote, scroll down here to eligibility. Right here under the bottom, it's going to have, oh, God, it's still, it's going to come to me before the show's done. It'll be right here, and it'll have a date. That date is the date they will be yanked off the market. And I would sell my stock if you have any profit in it whatsoever before it goes down to the expert market, because there's nothing telling you when they're going to come back. Stocks can be down there days, weeks, months, years. I'm not kidding. All right, let's jump back here to the information. Now, what do we got going on? We've got one green tick, transfer agent verified. Where's our verified profile? I don't know. We don't have it. Not a lot of validated information down here. So let's take a look at our relative volume first. Big drop. Over the last 30 days, she's been averaging almost 12 million shares a day. Averaging. Today, we got 1.7 million shares. Yak. Share structure for the company. That's average. We got 145 million outstanding shares. The insiders own about 35 million. We got 111 million. I'm not excited about it, but I'm not going to complain. That's average. Market cap, we're at about 4 million. Money talks, the rest all walks. They're walking. Yeah, 4 years ago, we had $6 million. Next year, we had only 1 million. Then we had zero. Something happened. What was this? A change of operations? I don't know. Then we're back up to a half a million, but it cost them $6,000. How? When you're running a platform and you don't have any overhead, I mean, all you've got is a website to pay for. You know, how can you be losing money? Balance sheet for the company. Whew, we got $19,000 in the bank. That is our total current assets, our total assets, $19,000. Follow me now. Total liabilities, we have 2.8 million. Okay, so we're holding all this liability, 2.8 million with only $19,000 in the bank. Now, this business is running, it's operating. The CEO gets paid. Who's paying him? We are. We're the ones that are holding all the debt for this company. Now, let's take a look at these disclosures. I want you to see. This is the. Hold on. Hold on here. Yeah, change of control. Where is that? All right, I'm going to jump over here. I want to make sure. I could have got this confused with another one. It's possible. VMHG. This is where I found it, so maybe this is where I'll find it again. 110 million. All right, I'm checking here. If I see the shares, no. No. It's got to be. I don't normally do this. I think I typed that in the wrong spot. I don't think we've had a change of control here because I do remember it was right here in the filings. It said that there had been a change of control because the CEO sold all of his preferred A shares. Well, I don't see that here. Nothing going on here. But why? I swear to God. Let me see something here. There. All right. Whew. I know I'm getting old, but I'm not crazy. Okay, this is what I wanted to share with you here. On January 29th, Orlando Hernandez, the CEO and director of the company, entered into a stock purchase agreement with Red Gemini LLC, where the CEO has sold 20 million of his common shares and 60,000 of his convertible Series A preferred stock. Basically, they're telling you that there has been a change of control because he now owns nothing. He sold everything. But look what they sold it for. $150,000. The entire company, all the stock that he had, 20 million shares and 60,000 convertible A. I don't know how many shares that'll convert into, but it's worth $150,000. That's the entire company. That's what he bought it for. How much value can there be there for us if the whole bloody company was just purchased for $150,000? It's food to think about. Okay, I do believe that was all the information that we really needed to take a look at, unless we wanted to look at that. Well, there's the news there too. I could have got it there, but see, they didn't go into all of that here. They don't tell you the price because that's why I dove into the filing. They did not tell you the price here, and the price is what made me drop my jaw. Okay, so you sold all your shares, change of control. That's normal for $150,000. Egads. So they gave us no information in that piece of news, and the news before that is all the way back to March 2025, and it just gets older and older from there. So that's what we've got going on. There has been a change of control. Somebody else has taken over the company. It's still operating, though it isn't worth much, and we're holding a lot of deficit. But here's the question. Did the guy buy the company just for the ticker? He may not be interested in the company whatsoever. He may have his own thing he wants to do, and he may implement that. The very next piece of news may be a change of operations, and we see this yacht company just fall to the wind side, right? It's possible. I've seen it happen before. So let's take a look now at ticker VMHG. Dun, 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 dun. Roll it back, brother, down to a year. Boating hasn't been big business, has it? For a year, She has been floating on very calm waters, going nowhere. We've got a 52-week low of 0008, which hit just at the end of January. 0008. And then she's taken off and she has not stopped climbing. She's pulled back a couple times, back to the 9. She's floating way over the 9 right now. So I would anticipate her to at least come back down to the 9, which is down here at 2 cents. And we're up there now at basically 2.5 cents. So yeah, I would expect a pullback. All of our MAs are strong. Everything's combed nice and evenly, nothing too far spread, except that 9-day is a hell of a long ways from that 20-day. So this may actually come through the 9-day and come down to the 20. It's possible. But I don't chart on the yearly chart like that. That's what I do on my 5 and 15-minute charts, not my yearly charts. Oscillators are very strong. Everything is climbing right now. Volume has been strong ever since she started climbing, but it is getting weaker. The volume is tapering off, even though it's a lot stronger than it's been for a long time. Taking a look at our 6-month, 4-hour view, not a whole lot of difference here. Nice climb, floating on our 9, bounced off the 20 once. We're not worried about that because the bar is still over or on the main MA. The wicks can come down as deep as they want. Matter of fact, the deeper they come, the higher she'll climb. Think of it as a pogo stick, and the bigger that pogo stick is, the harder it can bounce. But you've got to keep your solid bar on or above the MA it's on, and then have a wick go down through other MAs. Woohoo! You're going to fly. So we've got a nice roll going here. She's leveled off. She's going sideways. Now, she could sit here going sideways waiting for these MAs. Remember I said she could fall all the way down to the 20 on the yearly chart? Well, the other option is to just be patient and go sideways and let everything else come up to her. When it finally catches up, dip down with a wick, tag that 20, and boom, take off again. All of our oscillators have been cooling off because she's been falling for 2 days. They're not cold, but they are all starting to roll over right now. Taking a look at our 20-day 1-hour view. That's a beautiful chart. That's beautiful. Got a low bubble in this corner of 0008, high bubble in this corner of 3.5 cents. Wow, you're talking 1630. That's over 400% run right there, folks. She has leveled off, and this is what I'm talking about. See how she went sideways here, waiting. The 20 came. She did not bounce off the 20. She kept going sideways, waiting. Now we're on a very strong MA, the one equal to the 200. That is a 200. That's the 200 haul. There's a very, very strong likelihood that this has all the strength it needs to bounce off of, and that's what we're seeing right now. Get on top of that 20, there's nothing stopping her from having a free run. Oscillators, they're basically even right now. Everything is going sideways as they were falling. It's starting to actually come up. Everything is looking like it's wanting to climb. We just don't have the volume that we need. So there she goes. Look, she's been going sideways, trickling down. We've come underneath our 200. She's trying to hang on to this 200. We are on top, sitting like a king, and we're underneath, hanging on like a monkey. But she's on that 200. She's not going anywhere. Now, the 200 is totally flat right now. This is an opportunity to break out, but we need volume. All of our other MAs are right there with it. So she's at a very decisive moment. She could easily fall. She could easily climb. It's all about which bar of volume do we get, red or green. That's going to make all the difference here. Last bar we had was red. So this is a curious one. She's had a lot of strength in the last 10 days or so. So it's probably worth putting on your chart because she's got a low float and she has had heat. She has something going on right now, which is going to bring speculation into the picture. And when you're talking about cheap stock, speculation is a huge catalyst. When you don't give enough details to the investors, they'll just fill in the blanks. And they fill them in with gold and rubies and diamonds and rainbows. They build it up way too big in their mind. And they will kick something up so bloody high, you just can't understand why it's that high. And then news will come out, giving you the facts of what's happening. And then reality is not as good as the dreams. So we've got speculation here, change of control. I get the feeling, I haven't read anything, I don't know anything, but I get the feeling whoever bought this company wants the ticker. He wanted to get up on the market, and $150,000 to get on the market was probably pretty bloody cheap for him. So that's what I'd be watching for. A change of operations next. Ta-da! We are done with VMHG. Let me see if I can get back to you. Oh, I don't have a drink. How can I not have a drink? Oh, I do. I got a whole jug here. Good stuff. Me loves me nectar. Okay. All right, let's see. How you guys doing over here? The oldest man alive. Come on, look at me. Do I look that old? I mean, I know I'm old. I'm like 63 or 64. Honestly, I can't remember. Honestly, I used to make fun of my mom. She kept forgetting her age. And it's like, Mom, how can you forget your age? 63, 64, but that's not the oldest man in the world. My dad's still alive and he's 81. So I got a ways to go yet. Loving you too, Earthworm. Loving you too. Hey, John, have you looked into AGL yet? Not today. No, we haven't looked at AGL. And I can't remember that I've actually looked at it. It's not popping in my mind as something I've done yet. What time is it? 4:51, and we're on a roll. So let's keep on rolling. We're going to take a look at Velmore's ticker. She wants to look at SVRE. She reminded me that I don't have to look at the warrant. I do believe she said they had a warrant, and I don't have to pay any mind to it. Yep, so we got a warrant there. It's down. That's all the mind we're paying to it. We're not looking at it anymore. All right, so SVRE. This is Saver One 2014 LTD. I bet you that's the year they came on the market and just never changed their name. This is a transportation safety solutions company. From what I've been able to gather, they've got two products that we'll take a look at. They have a super low float. It's just a little over 500,000 shares. They just did a 1-in-4 reverse stock split yesterday. Now, this is not a common share. This is an ADR, a depository receipt. In other words, these shares are held by banks. Not that it's any big difference, but just so you know. Was there anything else we needed over here? Yeah, they did that reverse stock split, a 1-in-4 yesterday. That's why we've got our super small float. So SVRE is a company based out of Israel. A lot of good technology comes out of Israel. Finished today at $2.77, down 2.1% today, dropping 6 cents. Hot penny stock on the NASDAQ. So the company has two different products. Let me see if we can gather some information here. You're going to light up for me? Okay, we'll just start with the news and I'll cover them as we go along. Saver One announces strategic letter of intent with Vision Wave to develop RF defense platform. Now, before you get confused, we are talking about vehicles. We're talking about cars. We're talking about defensive driving so that you don't hurt anybody. You don't hit anything. We're not talking about military defense. We always jump to that conclusion. Our cars have been working with sonar, radar, LiDAR, all these different electronic eyes that allow AI and all this self-driving vehicles to work. Well, they don't work perfectly. You have to have inline sight for those things to work. If the person is not standing in the road, if you can't see the person, LiDAR, sonar, radar does not see them. So they have something else that does, and it is called RF. Let me see. I'm sorry, folks. It's RF frequencies. There it is, RF technology. RF technology is a platform that puts out a signal that can see things around corners, objects that are blocked. It can tell all that information, and that information is given to the AI in the vehicle. Now, this is being added on to a whole bunch of vehicles. I do believe the next piece of news tells us this. Vision Wave Holdings and Saver One announced execution of strategic exchange agreement to establish RF-based defense platform. I do believe that this Vision Wave company is acquiring 51% of this company, Saver One. And that is happening right now. The two of them are coming together to create the two products in multiple countries. Multi-billion-dollar VRU, which is Vision. Where the hell? I did have all this highlighted. I don't know why it is not highlighted. That's very aggravating. Hold on here. Follow with me. There we go. Saver One technology company specializing in transportation safety solutions today announced the completion of the installation of its driver distraction prevention system, DDPS, in Cemex, Croatia, the fifth country where Cemex have assimilated Saver One safety system, joining Spain, Germany, the Czech Republic, and Israel. Now, this is their other product that works right along with that radio frequency. You've got the car being smart and it can see what's going on. But what if you're not watching the road driving? We have a lot of accidents, not only in this country, but a lot of countries since the smartphone came out. People want to get their messages. They want to chat. Well, this company has a device that you install into the car, and it puts out a blocking signal around the driver's vicinity, not the whole car, just the driver's vicinity, so that any smartphone in his hand will not work. It will not get a signal. So he's not going to be bothered. He's not going to get messages. He can't look at his messages. And if anybody gives him their phone won't work either. It's a dead zone, that driving area. So they're installing that on the cars along with this RF technology. And the two companies are coming together to do all of this. So that's what we got going on with the company. Let's see if we have any. Yes, we do. We've got filings here. Save some time and jump over to Stock Titan, my little cheat sheet. There's our share count, right? We've got less, well, just a little over 500,000 shares. There is our 1-for-4 ADS ratio change. Saver One widens Cemex rollout of driver distraction systems, moving into other countries now. Vision Wave to gain 51% of Saver One. We just read that, and that's what the next one is too. So we've got everything covered here. We have a merger with Vision Wave. They now own 50% of this company. We have a new technology from Vision Wave that is coming on board to the company, their RF technology, which is going to help cars see stuff that is not in plain view. And they've got their other product, which is the driver distraction product that keeps the phones from working when you're in the driver's seat. So let's go take a look now at the relative volume for the company. Way down there. Now, I don't know why they don't have an average volume here. I went and looked at the chart. It looks like it's been trading every day. So we should have had an average. I don't know what it is. Today, though, we are way, way down there, right? $2.77 at a 2.1% drop, and we did 500,000 shares, 600,000. Share structure for the company. Over there, they said a little over 500,000. Here, they say a little over 600,000. Doesn't matter, folks. It's super duper low. Now, it's not going to help if we're only doing 583,000 shares. That means we didn't even sell every share once. Not once. But we have a super duper float. So when volume does come in, this thing could rip, folks. I mean, it could be scary. You could see multiple dollar jumps. Now, as fast as she runs up, she can run down too because of that float. So be very, very cautious. Be quick to take your gains, folks. A lot of people don't like to sell when it's climbing. They feel they're losing money because they could have gotten more. That's the mindset that kills everybody. Take it as she's climbing, because as soon as she turns, when you go to sell, she's going to be falling and you're going to be losing money as you're selling. But if you sell on green bars, you're making money as you're selling. You can sell on market orders and get more than you thought you were going to get. It's a lot better than selling market orders on red bars. Look at that market cap. Are we kidding? $42. That's not thousands. That's $42 is their market cap. I do believe that is the smallest market cap I have ever seen. I do think so. Financials for the company. Are they making money? Yeah, they have been making a little bit of money, probably enough to pay the employees and the insiders. 4 years ago, 145,000. 2023, we hit a high of 755,000. We're now back under a $500,000 at the end of 2024. And we have been pulling in some profit each year, so we're staying in the black. Quarterlies, we're not getting any quarterlies. You don't normally get quarterlies on your international stocks. This one's from Israel, right? Looking at our balance sheet, not forgetting those 3 zeros, cash and cash equivalents for our bank account, we got about 3.6 million. Total assets is 6.5 million. Liabilities is less, 3.6. So woo-hoo, we've got stockholder equity of just shy of 3 million. Now, that's not a lot of stockholder equity, but we don't have a lot of shares right now either. We got like 600,000 shares, $3 million in stockholder equity. That means each share right now is actually worth $5 based on stockholder equity. That's real math. I ain't making that stuff up. That's true. Let me see. Is that everything? I do believe that's everything, folks. So let's go take a look now at SVRE. So we've got ourselves a merger. We got ourselves new technology, and we've just put it into a new country. Lots of new things happening. Rolling that clock on back. Let's check out our trend and our highs and lows. We just did have a reverse stock split of 1 and 4. I don't know if that was the only reverse stock split. They could have had more. The reason I say that is I'm looking at their high back here. Back almost a year ago, we got a high of $196. Well, with the reverse stock split, the way they have the chart set up now, they don't give us one big green bar where they multiply the price up. They now multiply the whole chart all the way back to the very first day it came on the market. So if they have only had one reverse stock split, every price from the day of that reverse stock split back has been multiplied by 4. All the way back to the very first day it started. So our high here of virtually $200, you'd have to divide by 4. That would give us $50. Well, see, that sounds a little high to me. Now, I don't know this company. Maybe that was its real price, but that sounds a little high to me. So I'm thinking maybe somewhere in here they had another 1 and 2 or a 1 and 4 reverse stock split. Couldn't be a big one, but I don't know. So these numbers back here cannot be trusted, but you can see we have been in a downtrend the entire year. And looking at what's going on right now, it's so flat I can't even see it. I'm going over to the 4 hour. All right. 6 months ago, it says we had a high of $80. I'm really not thinking that's right. And if you divide that by 4, it would be $20. We had some big rips here going through a falling 200. She is bouncing using the numbers they gave us, $33 up to 80. So you're talking over 100% run there, 150%. Another one here from 27 up to 68, over 100%. So we've got these big rips running through that 200 as it's falling. Do not think it's going to break out. When you have a falling 200, rarely do you ever see a stock break out. It will break through and then come back down. That's par for the course. Play par for the course. Anytime she breaks through, if you're playing it and she gets over that 200, take your gains. She's going to be coming down real fast. She's come down from $79 down to $2.20. That was our 52-week low. We now have a 200 squeeze in motion. Where's our 50? There it is. So we got a rising 200. Hold on, folks. I got a hair that is tickling my nose. Hair. You wonder why this doesn't happen to me all dang day. All right. So once we hit that low, she got up on top of that 50, rising 200 haul, falling 200 MA. That's the 200 squeeze. She is on top of the 50. She pushes to the 200. Now, this is a false run. You normally don't get false runs. We've seen 2 of them today. She normally will go to and through the 200. but she didn't. She got real close to the 200. She's pulled back. She is underneath the 50. Now, I have seen in a lot of cases, it'll come back down to this 200, smack it solid. No wicks underneath it or nothing. It'll just smack it solid and boom, launch right through every single MA all the way up to that 200 MA. Yes, it will, to and through it. So you're looking at over 100% run here. If that was to fall down, that's $2.05 up to $4.19 as they sit now. But they're closing in on each other. So they're going to get tighter and tighter, making this a more probable move. I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. Oscillators, everything is going sideways. There's no heat there, nothing to talk about. Taking a look at our 20-day 1 hour, we got a high 20 days ago of $5.20 in a deep fall. Came down here, floating over top of our 200 haul, hanging on to our 50-day, drooping down to that low of $2.20. A bounce, very fast bounce off of this, up to that 200, back down to this 200. Back and forth, folks. When you get between the 200, it's almost pinball. And if everything starts turning up, you're just waiting for that pinball to break through the glass and be out of here. And that's what's happened. She's working up all the MAs, working on that 20. She's floating on the 20. She bounces up on the 9, but it's really the 20 she's working on. Now, she's come back down, but she has been slowly rolling high and low. I think she's just getting some momentum right now. I'd be watching this. I'd be keeping my eye on it. Oscillators still aren't giving us any clues. They're still going sideways, not telling us nothing. 5-day, 5-minute. There's that low. Bounced pretty quickly up on top of that 200. 200's actually falling here. It got onto a falling 200. Now it's flat right here. We start getting a rise. 200 is climbing. The stock starts to rise with it. An abrupt fall down to the 200. And with all these MAs over the price, it pushes the price underneath the 200. Now, if it didn't want to go there, it's going to try to stay close to the 200 and wait for those MAs to just come back up like a biorhythm, just roll back around, which is what they're doing right now. Now, she was on that climb until the bell, and then whatever happened after the bell wasn't good. Pushed down hard. This is a change of trend. This was going back to normal. This is fighting what we want to happen. I'm not liking what's happening after market right now. This is pushing it down, pulling down all of our MAs. Everything is starting to roll right now. Now, you can put this on your watch list for all the reasons that, super duper low float and stuff. You like super low floats because whenever volume comes in, it doesn't matter if the news is good, bad, or if there's any news at all. It doesn't matter. It's all about that volume. And when you got a super duper low float, a lot of volume can make that stock run. But if you weren't watching it, you're just going to kick yourself in the butt later and say, the whiz told me I should have put it on my watch list. The whiz just told you. Put it on your watch list. I still need a drink. Give me my nectar. Oh. C'est la vie. What time is it? 5:08. We got any more stocks? I do. We got Casheras. Anybody talking to me over here? Nope. No one talking to me. We're now taking a look at LGHL. Stop that. LGHL. This is Lion Group Holdings. That's not what we're looking for. Slow down, John. Slow down. All right, Lion Group Holdings. This is a Singapore asset management firm. Very low daily volume today. Super low float, 500,000 shares. Their revenues are negative, but we've actually got shareholder value, and they've got a purchase agreement. Somebody just bought a whole bunch of shares at a much higher price than the price on the board right now. So let's see what we got going on for LGHL. LGHL, where you at? As I said, is based out of Singapore. Finished today at $1.35, jumping 3.8%, which was a whole nickel. This is a hot penny stock on the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ. As I said, this is a company that works with asset management. They also work with insurance, futures, securities. They're a brokerage firm. They do all that sort of stuff. Lots and lots of financial services. So what was the relative volume around LGHL today? Really low. It's been really low for the last month. It's been under 500,000. Today it was even less than that. We're down there at 300,000 shares. Yikes. Share structure. Super duper low float. Now they say it's 1.5 million here. I thought it was 500,000. You know, it really doesn't matter. I could run over to Stock Titan and check, but in either case, whatever the insider zone has got to be subtracted from that. The float could very well be just 500,000. It's a super low float. So low, in fact, what is that? What kind of market cap is that? How can it be zero? I just saw $42. That was the lowest market cap I had ever seen. That's the lowest market cap I've ever seen. That's got to be a mistake because you take all the shares and you multiply it times the price. 1,584 times $1.35 does not come out to zero. I haven't been to school in a long time, but that does not come out to zero. So they need to fix that. And see, they say it's updated. They say that was just updated yesterday. Somebody got their stuff wrong. They need AI. That's what this site needs. AI. That would be a blessing for me. What else we got to take a look at here? Take a look at their financials. Did we look at that? No, we didn't. All right. 4 years ago, we were at 19 million. Then they lost all that money and fell another 9 million down. Came all the way back up from -9 up to +15. What is this? That's ridiculous. And now we're down $32 million. Folks, I don't know what kind of math they're working with here. This is all crazy stuff to me, but this isn't good. I'm not liking any of that. Financials, we're not getting anything here. This is an international company. Balance sheet. Well, they've got $17.5 million in the bank, 36 million in total assets, 25 million in total liabilities. Nope, my bad. Nope, that's right. 25 million, which means, surprise, surprise, surprise. We've got $10.5 million in stockholder equity. I didn't know that. And how many shares we got? 1.5 million. So again, divide the shares into the equity. I think we have 500,000. Let's just call it a million. 1 million shares means the stock should be $10 right now. Now, as soon as they put more shares on the market and dilute it, that's going to change the price, like crazy. I'm just letting you know right now, this could catch a lot of people's attention. When you got stocks that have super duper low floats, it doesn't take much to get them to run. And you don't need a piece of news. Don't be waiting for a filing or a piece of news. There's lots of stocks that I see running every single day over at Penny Boys that have nothing, absolutely nothing going on. Same thing falling. Some stocks fall huge with no news or filings. So don't wait for things to happen for the charts to move. They'll move without. Let's see what we've got now for the news for the company. We've got two pieces of news here. Both of them are from last year, from 2025. The company announces $10 million private placement for the acquisition of Bitcoin. The company announces the acquisition of Bitcoin following a subsequent closing under $600 million facility. Well, if they bought Bitcoin back in December, I do believe it was close to $100,000 in December, wasn't it? If you bought $10 million worth in December, right now it's worth $7 million. You've lost $3 million on your Bitcoin. And there's a lot of companies out there that have invested into cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and a lot of other weird types of coins. And the crypto market is taking a fall right now. So all those companies were putting them in their treasury have just lost money. They did that because the bank only gives you 3% interest. Oh, we're not making any money. Yeah, but the bank never takes money from you. They just lost money. Should have thought about that, huh? So we've got no other news here. What about disclosures? We have an SC13G. I'm just going to dive in over here, make it quick and simple because I might have missed something. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-dum, bum, bum. All right. See, they say we got 500,000 shares. I'm liking that. Merrick's Group discloses 7.8% passive ownership in Lion Group shares. So somebody, a new insider, just came on board. This is a 13G. I guess 13G is for the silent investor. They like to call it passive ownership, where a 13D is somebody who wants a voice in the company. They want to say in what goes on. So they had a new investor come in. Lion Group completes smaller 2.6. All right. They had a deal here. They were supposed to get $5 million up front. And I'm not quite sure what this is about. The company has amended its share purchase arrangement with Amazon Capital Holdings Limited by waiving the original first closing of $5 million, and they are willing to accept first closing of $2.6 million. Amazon Capital, I don't think that's Amazon. I think that's another company. I could be wrong here, but I don't believe that's the big Amazon that we're thinking about. And I do believe that's all the filings we really needed to consider for this company. Men's foreign issuer shelf registration, that's old. Yeah, those are all old. So we've covered everything for LGHL except the charts. So let's go do that. Baby, baby, where did our love go? All right, going back a year. All these charts in depressed mode. Taking away all the lines so we can see what's going on here. Well, you know what was going on. We've been in a downtrend, and I've got to presume, did we read anything? I've read so much now. Did we read anything about a reverse stock split? Because that high looks a little high to me. We've got a 52-week high back here of $104. Was it that high back then? Maybe it was. It has been falling ever since then, never getting close, never piercing or touching the 200-day MA, staying underneath it deep, way down here. 52-week low, we're down here at $1.05. That happened just a couple weeks ago. Let's come on down to our 4-hour chart where maybe we can see something a little better. Wow. $71 is our high 6 months ago. Way over top of that 200. She jumped from about $36 up to 71. Geez, that's 100% rip right there. And as our 200 started to rise, we were getting some mighty rips and bounces. Big ups, big downs, big ups, big downs. Keep that in mind. When she starts to move, she goes as far down as she goes up, back and forth, back and forth. So take your gains, read the chart strong. Once we got under the 200, she was in a downtrend, though we had a nice run here going from $15 up to, $60. That was a 400% rip. She came back down to about $25 and ripped again up to $42 before coming back down underneath the 200 and getting into that downtrend. Looking at what's going on now, can you see it? Right? We've got our blue at the bottom. That means it's a rising 200 haul. Our red at the top. That means we got a falling 200 MA. Price in the middle. That meat right there sitting on top of the 50. This is a prime 200 squeeze. Now, it's not guaranteed to break out, but 7, 8 out of 10 times, that's what happens. And that's what we do when we play stocks. We play the probabilities. Nothing's guaranteed, but does it happen most often? This happens most often. Sitting on the 50 with the rising 200 haul, she's ready to break through that 200. Now, she could continue to climb, but I always sell as soon as she breaks out. I look for the first red bar. It could go up a ways. I don't sell immediately. I get as much as I can. First red bar, I'm out, because she will normally come back down to the 200 or the next closest MA underneath. If there's volume in the picture, she'll take off again. And that's when I'll get in again. Why come back in feeling all frustrated, watching all of your gains fall away, hoping that she comes back? Who can afford hope? That's an expensive commodity. Oscillators, There's a wee bit of heat here. Everything is gradually climbing. It's not falling, which is a good sign, but it's not on fire or anything. Taking a look at our 20-day 1-hour view, we got a high of a $1.97. That was 20 days ago. Fell down to a low of a $1.05, and she's been bouncing until she wasn't. And now she's just laying flat on a 200, which is slowly rising. She is inching her way up. And this is a token sign that a breakout could just all of a sudden happen. When the 200 starts climbing, all of the MA start following her. All of a sudden, somebody's going to look at that chart and say, that looks good. Boom. And then someone behind them, boom. This looks like it could rip, folks. So I'd be putting this on my chart. She's showing not that she has a lot of heat built up, but she's in the right position. And if you're looking for early entry, that's what you want. Nice positioning. If you're playing a momentum play, you want to catch a stock that's already moving. Get in, get out, like hitchhiking. You stop the car, get in, stop the car, get out. Let's take a look at our 5-day, 5-minute. Lots of sideways activity. Look, she really isn't going anywhere. The 200 is rolling down, rolling up, rolling down, rolling up. Right now, she is just going sideways. Now, she could do this for a long freaking time, right? All we know is she's got a low float and she's in position. You may want to start her position. You may want to wait till volume comes in. You may not be interested in it at all. I don't know. Personally, I'm not liking the stock. I don't like asset management companies for the most part. I don't like companies from other countries most of the time when I can't do due diligence on them. Companies in Singapore, Africa, Korea. These companies are tough to do any due diligence on. So I've learned not to jump into these too hog hard. All right, that's LGHL. LGHL. And I do believe that was all the tickers I had lined up. It is. 5:21. It is getting late, but I'm going to grab a stock, one stock from you guys. I'll come over here. Bing, ding, 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 ding. How pretty am I? All right, let's see what you got here. AGL. Okay. AGL twice. I see you. Is merging into a beverage company. There we go. What's this? VMHG is merging into a beverage company, Goody. They have new management, and it's the same guy that manages Celsius energy drinks. Was there any news for that? Did I miss the news? Was there a filing or was that a tweet? Where was that information? RXT has not stopped climbing today. Yeah, RXT has been doing pretty good. I got out of that early. I took gains, but boy, I got out of that early. See here. What's this? Got SLS. You've said that twice to me. What is SLS? I don't know all abbreviations. This one went over my head. I seen you put that in one of your comments, and I worked on it for a while. I couldn't figure it out. Hello, Zerb. Zerb. I don't know. How do you pronounce a name without vowels? I like the first letter, though. That's pretty cool. All right. Looks like that's it. I'm going to be doing AGL. Unless I missed anybody else's. So we're going to take AGL right now. I'm going to hit my buttons. You see me doing it. AGL. Not familiar with this company, but we'll jump into it and learn together. AGL, Agilion Health. Agilon Health. Okay, it's going to be one of these guys. All right, this is a company based out of Ohio. Dave likes that. This is Agilion Health, finished today just under 60 cents, jumping just under 19%, jumping almost a dime. This is a hot penny stock on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, what is this company about? Well, they don't give us a business description, so let us dive into the most recent piece of news. Go down to the bottom and see what they say. You're not. Oh, that's an investor alert. So this means that they have a class action suit probably. Now, there's a lot of investors that sue companies all the time. I pay no mind to those type of lawsuits unless it's the federal government or the IRS or some criminal action against a company. I don't pay any attention to lawsuits. Most of them are very frivolous. They come from begruntled investors. And normally you have to have lost $100,000 or more to be a part of the class action suit. Who the hell invests $100,000 into a penny stock? Jiminy. Let's see here. Agilon Health deadline. Investors have opportunity to lead health. That's fraud. Dumb. Gee whiz, this is all the same thing. Every single one of those is about the lawsuit. All of them. Every single one of these is about the lawsuit. Oh, come on. Wow. Okay. Let's see if they have a website. I don't see a website. All right, let's go. This is rough, dude. All right, let's go take a look at Stock Titan. See if we can get any information over there. When you got to go to Google, you know there's not a lot of information to be found. We ain't there yet, but boy, we're getting close. Shares outstanding. We got about 500 million shares outstanding. Okay, company description. Woohoo! We got some information here. The company is a healthcare company that describes itself as a trusted partner, empowering physicians to transform healthcare into their communities. The company states that it supports primary care physicians through long-term partnerships and a purpose-built platform. The company reports that it provides technology, people, capital, process support, and access to peer networks of approximately 2,200 primary care physicians. This network is intended to help physician partners maintain their independence while focusing on the total health of their most vulnerable patients. The company reports that it is active in 30 diverse communities. Anything else here to grab up? That's about it. Not a lot of information there. Squeeze this up a little bit. Yesterday, they came out with their full fiscal year report. We better dive into that because it seems to be the only information we got going. Issues 2026 guidance, highlighting expected break-even adjusted EBITDA. A guidance, their projections, what they think they're going to make this year. Let's see what sort of numbers we can come up with. Total members on the platform decreased to 625,000, comprising of 511,000 Medicare Advantage members. Total revenues, $1.5 billion in the fourth quarter of 2025. Wow, that's some strong revenues there compared to $1.52 billion in the fourth quarter of 2024. So they're up a little bit, not a whole lot, but they're doing strong revenues there. Gross loss was $91 million for the fourth quarter of 2025, compared to a gross loss of $38 million in 2024. They're losing more money, a lot of money. They've got strong revenues, but they're losing money. Adjusted EBITDA loss was $142 million compared to $84 million last year. Ouch. So they make a lot of money, but they're losing a lot of money as well. Let's see if there's any other news. We got financials. 9 days ago, the company to participate in upcoming conferences. No, that's it. So we don't have a lot of news. Files their annual report. That's what we were just reading, their financials. February 25th, deep 2025 losses, but 2026 break-even goal for the company. All right, we have not gone through all of this. What's this? Reverse split proposal highlights New York bid ask. Okay, let's see what we got here. Reverse stock split. Looks like February 17th, they had a reverse stock split. Is that what it says here? Stocks. They're voting on a reverse stock split. So where's the vote? And what size is it supposed to be? What's the price of the stock right now? We're at 59 cents. They say that they need to have this reverse stock split to get the price back up over $1. But they don't give us any ratios, no clue what it is, and we don't have any information on the vote yet. Here we go. There we go. They're looking for a 1 for 5 up to a 1 to 25 reverse stock split. Any dates here? Nope. So that is something you can put out there. They are looking at doing a reverse stock split. When we look at the charts, we'll see if they've been under $1 for too long. You've been under $1 for too long, you're in trouble. So they are already starting to set up a vote to have a reverse stock split set and ready to go. They don't want to go down to the OTC, but if you're invested in the company, think of it this way. If they do a 1 in 25 reverse stock split and you're 10 cents down on the stock when they do the reverse stock split, you've got to multiply your 10 cents by 25. So now you're $2.50 down off the price, not 10 cents, $2.50. That's the problem with stock splits. They exaggerate your losses. If you're down, you're going to be really down, and your average goes way up. So the difference between the price and your average is this huge, humongous gap. And the only way to close it is to pour more money into it. I've got, oh my God, I've got 93 reverse stock splits, which have sucked $45,000 out of me. And slowly, when they start to come back up, I got to start pouring money in because they took all my shares away. You know, I've got something like 100 shares at $32 a share, and the price is 8 cents. And it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do with that? So that's what we got to look forward to. We have a reverse stock split, and I didn't see anything else to consider. They've got strong revenues. Let's see if they show that over here. Okay. Revenues have been growing gangbusters. 2021, 1.5 billion. 2024, 6 billion. They've gone up 400% in the billions from 1.5 to 6 billion. But what is that? Why is the profit so freaking low? We're down here getting less than $250,000 off of $6 billion. Yikes. Looking at the quarterlies, they're doing 1.5 billion every single quarter. That's a lot of money coming in. And look, they're losing money. How do you lose money when you're making 1.5 billion? They're losing $54 million. Whew. How do you stay in business like that? Balance sheet for the company. We got 171 million in the bank, 1.6 billion in assets, 1.3 billion in liabilities, which gives us a wee bit of stockholder equity, 306 million. I normally wouldn't say little, but compared to the revenues, yeah, that's little. So what is their share count? Did we get around to that? Now, what did they say over here was the share count? Float 305 million. And what do they say here? What? Well, that's wrong, ain't it? This was October 2025, 41 million. And they say the float is 301 million, right? Isn't that what I just said over there? Float, 305 million. So there's a lot more shares been added to this just in the last few months. And I have no clue what the insiders own. So I have no clue what the float is, except to say it's a lot higher now. Well, actually, they say the float is 301. That's not the outstanding share count. That's the float. So we've got a really high float here of 305, and they're thinking about doing a reverse stock split. They're voting on it. Hasn't happened yet. If we can get this price up over $1, they won't need to do that. So it's up to the investors, not the company, to get this price over $1 for 10 consecutive days. Close over $1. You can come under $1 during those days, but at the end of the day, you better close over $1. All right, I do believe that's everything. No, we didn't look at the volume. My fingers knew, my brain didn't. Volume for the last 30 days, we've been doing like 7.6 million. We're up today, 9.4 million. So things are on the uptrend. We had that 19% jump, so hopefully the chart's going to continue doing that. What's the ticker? AGL. We've had a nice trend for the last 5 days. What do we got going on for the last year? All right. Almost a year ago, we got a high of $6.08 when she was firmly over that 200-day MA. She was up there for quite a few days and then took an abrupt fall, tried to hang on and couldn't. Fell underneath the 200 and she hasn't looked back ever since. Dropping from 608 down to 33 cents. That happened at halfway through February, just about a week ago. And right now, we are trying to come back up. She's fallen down to that low, come sideways, and we're just getting on top of the 200. All of our oscillators are warming up. Everything is starting to come up a little bit slowly. Warming up is good. You got to start somewhere, right? Looking at our 6-month, 4-hour view, we got a high now of $2.51 under the falling 200. Right here, our 200 went flat. We had a chance to break out here. She got on top of it. She started to move. 200 was climbing, and as it was climbing, the price started falling. Why would it do that? I don't know. I'd have to look at the news, look at the filings. There wasn't a lot to consider. Maybe that was it. It's just been too quiet for too long. She fell here from a buck, let's just call it $1, down to 33 cents and whipped around. Now, everything is turning very, very quickly here, folks. She's gotten up on top of the 50, pushed up on the 20. Our 200 haul is just now starting to go flat and turn up. Now is the time for a 200 breakout. This could happen first thing tomorrow. Very first thing. This could jump from where we at right now, 52 cents up to 72 cents and probably jump a little bit higher than that, 82 cents. Now, let me back this up just a wee bit. Yeah, right about here. So we've got a support there, and one over the 200 would give us 77 cents. So I would bet that this is probably going to break out and just hit 77, 78 cents and then pull back to that 200. And then we're going to hope that we have that volume in there and she just takes off and starts to run. Take a look at our 20-day, 1-hour view. We got a high now of 89 cents, solid fall down to that 33 cents. Off the low, she started climbing slowly, not with any fervor, but she had her mind made up. She wasn't going down. She has just walked over that 200, and she is continually pushing up right now. All of our MAs are crossing the 200, which is just now going flat. Perfect time for a breakout. All of our oscillators are pushing up and climbing. This is looking good. This is looking nice. Looking at our 5-day, 5-minute. As we said when we got here, this is a perfect chart. Low bubble in this corner, high bubble in that corner. Doesn't get any better than that. We have been riding that 200-day MA. We took a dip here, call it a crouch and a pounce. She came back down to the 200 firmly, bounced right off of it. Bam, right at the bell. Took off. She's been falling after market. Looking to see if she has a trend here. She doesn't do a lot in the aftermarket periods. Let's see what we got. I like the chart, but I really don't see any reason for her to climb. They're making lots of money, but they're losing lots of money. Honestly, I've got so many stocks on my watch list. I'm not going to throw this one on. Now, if you want to, if you're interested in the company, great. But keep in mind, they are voting on a reverse stock split. And as soon as that vote happens, and they didn't even give us a date. They didn't even give us a date on when they were voting on it. When the news comes out that the vote has happened, if they approve it, I would expect the stock to fall just on the news. It could do reverse. You never can tell with the stock market. Good news, stocks fall. Bad news, stocks run. You never can tell. So AGL, not a fun stock to do due diligence on there. That was rough. No information to really find. So AGL for what it was worth. All right, folks, we are here at 5:38. I am fried. I haven't had any of my substances that I need to support me. I do a lot of them through the day when I'm doing due diligence. Nicotine, THC, caffeine, sugar. Oh, my God. Yes. And I haven't had any of that in an hour and a half. So I'm going through DTs right now. Appreciate your time, folks. Hopefully I shared something with you of interest, stock, trading style, information that you weren't aware of. I'll be back here next week, same time, same place, same beard. Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for being here, folks. Because of you, we have a show. See you later, folks. Home Alone. Home Alone.